So we're going to talk about a leak here for a potential January Nintendo Direct. Remember, a January Nintendo Direct is not currently confirmed, although it's highly likely there's been a January Nintendo Direct 5 of the last 6 years. That being said, the exact source of this leak has been a little hard to find. I assume it's 4chan, but I'm not sure because I discovered this leak through express.co.uk, which is a reputable journalistic reporting site on news on the whole, and they have like a gaming section. And they were talking about this rumor, and it came to mention through there. They weren't the source of this. They actually link to a YouTuber called Blocked Content who made a video on this. And he titled it January Nintendo Direct Leaked, Every Game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, blah, blah, blah. So, the thing is, in his video, he provides no sources for this leak either. So, at this point, and by the way, you guys know this is one of my pet peeves when YouTubers do not provide sources for the information they're giving. You know what this means? This YouTuber is now considered the source for this leak. So, if this leak is fake, well, it's on this YouTuber for not providing the source of where it came from. See, here's the thing about journalistic integrity. If you're going to report on some crazy, likely not to be true leak like we're about to do right now, you can't not have a source for it, because if you have no sources listed, it automatically makes you the source of the information and thus responsible for said information. That being said, I listened throughout the entirety of his video, 19 minutes long, gives a bunch of opinions, but there's the factual information from the supposed leak in there. Now, I want to note that while this is a supposed leak, this is a 100% rumor. I don't even know if I want to call it that, really, since I can't find where this stuff came from beyond this YouTube channel. But we're talking about it because I just wanted an excuse to talk about the January Nintendo Direct, and there are some amazing things in this leak. There are some weird things, and there's one thing in particular that makes me think this entire thing is fake, but we'll cover that when we get there. So first off, he is claiming that the leaker that he's getting this information from works in marketing at Nintendo America, of course, trying to say they work at a position where they would actually have access to this information before the Direct comes out. They know a January Direct is coming, which I do think is obvious. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure that one out. He claims that Nintendo started doing this weird thing a few years back where they were leaking some things for these Directs on purpose. And basically they would put like one true thing in a list of things and leak it out there, so a bunch of fake news would go around. I don't know that I necessarily buy Nintendo actually doing that, but that's what supposedly the person that leaked this information is claiming Nintendo did. Maybe it was to weed out who is leaking what. I have no idea. But I don't see Nintendo actually doing that. It wouldn't be unheard of. There are game companies that sometimes do that to throw off the scent and surprise people, but I just don't. I don't think that's the case here. So the first game that is talked about in this leak is Super Mario Sluggers Fever Pitch, developed by Camelot, which is interesting because they just finished up like Mario Tennis Aces. Feel like it's a little soon to get out another game, but who knows? Maybe they have multiple teams, and this was what the other team was working on. It says it will have a story mode, and each character has a unique special attack, which is called a Fever Pitch. Online multiplayer is going to be in this game, and it's releasing in summer 2019, which, of course, a baseball game releasing in summer is just an obvious choice, since that's like right in the middle of, the Major League Baseball season here in the United States. So, sure, I mean, it's possible. It's a Mario sports game. They don't usually have super long development cycles. I mean, sure. Yeah, all right. I mean, I'd rather see like super, like strikers, like Mario Super Strikers or something. But hey, you know what? It's a sports game. Could happen. All right, sure. Believable enough. Next, he says Luigi's Mansion 3 is going to be shown off, except it's going to be a story trailer. I'm not going to dive too much into the details from that story trailer beyond one thing, just in case this is true for spoiler purposes. But it says it has 2-player co-op. The Scare Scraper mode is in. Everyone is kidnapped, including EGAD. The really odd thing in this game is that at some point you'll be able to play as Mario, Toad, or Peach. Basically, those are also people you can rescue. And we saw their names on those, their pictures on those banners in the original trailer. So again, this could just be complete fan fiction, like it probably is, based off of those banners. But maybe those banners do mean they're going to be playable in this game. Would feel weird to me if they were playable, to be honest, just because the whole point of Luigi's Mansion 3 is that Luigi's the star. But I guess you could play as Luigi in Mario games. So I don't know. Sure, maybe. Yoshi's Crafted World is mentioned next. The big thing here is that there's going to be Nintendo Labo features to this. They're going to be optional, but if you buy like the associated Labo stuff, you'll be able to basically control the game entirely with motion controls with some sort of cardboard thingy you build. So that's interesting. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's logical and could even be why Yoshi's Crafted World was quote unquote delayed. It might not even been for the game. It might have been to have Labo support because the game is literally built out of cardboard. So I think having Labo support is just an obvious thing. Next up, it says the Wonderful 101 and the Wonderful 101 Galactic Coalition are announced. Obviously, the Wonderful 101 being a port of the Wii U version, and the Wonderful 101 Galactic Coalition being a sequel. No dates or anything given here, which I think is weird. I figured the port would get at least a summer date or something like that, but no dates associated with either one. Would be very surprised not to see the Wonderful 101 ported, but to see a sequel announced. But you know what? Platinum Games does make a lot of games at once. It's entirely possible that there is a sequel in the works, and they've just been keeping it under wraps. So I guess maybe. I don't know. Next up is one that I find very interesting, and that is Mario plus Rabbids 2, A Teensy Bit of Trouble. There are 8 worlds in this one, including Yoshi's Island and DK Forest. There's a tease for a playable Rayman and Glowbox in the game. I think all of that's mostly believable. If there's going to be a Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2, I think it makes sense. So I'm honestly, it might be a little soon, but there's no date given, so this could end up being like a 2020 game. But I think that's interesting if there is going to be a sequel announced right now, basically. Next up, he mentions that Joker and Piranha Plant are going to be shown off for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which I think is a pretty big obvious. And they're going to announce that February 3rd is the release date for the plant. I think it's a little soon to see gameplay of Joker, but you know what? Maybe they could show us some very early move sets. Maybe he's not balanced yet, but they can show us like what his down B and up B are gonna basically look like in the end game. They sometimes do that, like with Piranha Plant. I'm sure Piranha Plant, the reason it's not out yet is because he's not balanced. Just because he's in the game and he's able to be used doesn't mean he's balanced. They take balancing characters seriously, so it's possible we could get a tease of Joker. The next one is actually one that really, really excites me. It makes me want this whole list to be true, and that is The Legend of Zelda Link's Reawakening. That's right, a remake of Link's Awakening to land in fall of 2019. The exact art direction of it isn't talked about too much. It's kind of like a 3D sort of thing. I'm personally thinking it's more like a Link Between Worlds, like that 2.5D kind of perspective. But who knows? Maybe it's something more than that. I think that would be amazing because I really love Link's Awakening. I mean, I would prefer a new top-down Zelda game. But, who knows? Maybe that'll be announced later. But I do think it would be very interesting to see Link's Awakening get another shot in the sun because I don't think a lot of people have played that game, if I'm being completely honest. Next up is a Sonic the Hedgehog Wii-sisted collection, which is basically a collection of all the 3D Sonic games on Wii to release in May 2019. I mean, sure, it could happen. I think Team Sonic Racing is supposed to come out in May of 2019 as well. So I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's a collection of old games ported. It doesn't really surprise me too much if that happens. This is the one that actually gives me the biggest red flag because this feels like a fanboy style thing. The next game is the Animal Crossing game. It's given a title called Back to Basics, and apparently it cuts out a lot of the new additions from New Leaf to kind of get back to the GameCube roots. Now that sounds exciting for some people, but Animal Crossing New Leaf is quite literally the most popular entry in the series. It's significantly doubtful that they, in their first true real sequel to Animal Crossing New Leaf, that they would just dump everything that works so well in that game. I think this is more of someone doesn't like New Leaf, they prefer the GameCube version, and as such, they want one to be more like the GameCube version. And reality is, New Leaf is the most popular game in the series. I doubt they're going to dump all the things that worked in that game. So this is the kind of like my big red flag in all of this, beyond the fact that I can't even find an originating source beyond that YouTuber. But hey, you know what? I mean, it's Nintendo. Do we really know what Nintendo's doing? We always think we do. At least I think I do. But we really have no clue what's happening. Next up is a very interesting one called Nintendo Land, the Grand Reopening. It's just a short little tease. Not really sure if this is like a remaster of the original Nintendo Land. Is it a sequel? Not really clear. I honestly think Nintendo Land is pretty baller, if I'm being completely honest. I highly enjoy Nintendo Land. But that's about all I can say about Nintendo Land, is that I just really enjoy it. The Metroid game and the Pikmin game. Oh, man. The Zelda one. Nintendo Land is like one of those underrated gems on Wii U. Should have been a packing game, but even as a standalone game, it's pretty solid. So, I mean, I guess it's basically like another Wii U port, or like a spiritual successor kind of thing. Next up, and the last game shown off, or it might not be shown off in this order, but is the Rayman trilogy. There's going to be, it'll probably be multi-platform, but on Switch there's going to be exclusive amiibo costumes present, which obviously is pretty believable based on what Nintendo's done in the past. And we've had Rayman games on Switch, on Switch. Actually, we had the port of the Wii U one. So yeah, we've had Rayman games on Nintendo systems. Not really a big surprise if there's some sort of collection of Rayman games, especially because Ubisoft has seen success on Switch already with Mario plus Rabbids. So why not get Rayman out there? I honestly think that a lot of this sounds believable, a lot of it sounds plausible, which is why it's probably not going to be correct, more so than the Animal Crossing thing giving me a red flag. I think the entire leak itself just being almost too believable. It's a little safe, it's a little exciting, it's a little what? And I think one thing that really makes me not want to believe it, or not really think it's happening, is if you think about it, the only third-party game in that list that that is new is Mario plus Rabbids 2, which is obviously a game that Nintendo owns the co-rights for with Ubisoft. So everything else is either first-party, second-party, or ports of old games. There's no major third-party game, and I think that is also a red flag. I think, we got Dark Souls Remastered before. I think there's going to be some sort of major third-party game shown off at least, even if it's just more of Mortal Kombat 11 or something. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Again, this is just another fart in the wind. Do with it what you please. Talk about the games. Are there any of these games you would like to see happen, or like to see the games happen in the way they are described? Obviously, I think it's a bunch of BS, but you know what? It was a lot of fun talking about it, and I hope you're having a lot of fun talking about it and listening about it down in the comments below, because this is the kind of stuff that's kind of nice to speculate on before we get to the Direct. So. I look forward to a January Direct later this month, and as we get closer, maybe we'll get something a little more legit than this. But I mean, on the off chance it's true, I mean, congrats Block Content on getting a bunch of attention for something that you claim isn't yours without giving anyone a direction to go. All right, folks. Be sure to enter our Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Ultimate giveaway through the Gleam.io link down in the description below. All that's required is you're subscribed to the channel. When we hit 50,000 subscribers, we'll be announcing a winner. Otherwise, folks, it's been a blast talking through these rumors with you, and I will catch you in the next one.